What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you are doing well. So when we make these sensational headlines, major warning, market's about to crash, of course, we got to sometimes, we got to back these with data. And in my opinion, what I'm seeing is a massive outflow of both spot and futures. Spot slightly better, but future is definitely cooked, or futures are cooked. We've got tremendous amounts of money leaving the market and into stable coins. We have stable coins or USDT dominance going up, going berserk. And of course, 24 hours, these are the outflows for Bitcoin. Slightly more positive for Ethereum over the 7 days. But listen, this is not a picture to be messing about with. And things look weak right now. Of course, like I said, spot is better, at least for Bitcoin anyway. Largely driven by some ETFs, but across the board, look at the 7 days, look at the 30 days. These are short-term inflows, because what's about to happen is the market is likely to claim 89 to 93. Now, of course, I'm not going to say whether this is going to happen or not, but there is also a geopolitical concern to mix with the market volatility. That includes the FOMC, the government shutdown potential on Friday, of course, and Jerome Powell's speech and tone as we approach the rest of the week. So in the short term, what's going on? Well, in the short term, we have left a CME gap, guys. And that CME gap, we've taken $86,000, take that liquidity, and we've got two gaps here, one at 89,600 or something like that, and the other one around 93,500. So what's likely to happen is we will clear this liquidity up to $93,000, and then the market will potentially be moving back down. You can see here some liquidities here, but overall, even the way the funds are flowing now, because of those two CME gaps that were formed over the this weekend and last, the chances are it will clear those two gaps and then boom, go back down. Now, why would Bitcoin go down? Well, one thing is like I said, there's a potential war in Iran. There is an impending government shutdown. But we have also seen a massive catalyst for things like gold, palladium, which is just breaking out. So if you look at gold, silver, and of course precious metals, you would see that the market is heavily risk off and favors these safer assets. 5,000 for gold. I think gold gets to 10,000 sometime in the not too distant future. But the acceleration here has been on a rocket ship. It's been slowly creeping up, and then boom, an explosion over time as a store of value, whereas Bitcoin is more like a tech asset. So if we look at the SPX, there's something wrong with the chart, right? You're guaranteed to expect a breakdown here, especially with the macro. And if this breaks down, Bitcoin will break down in a major way. Now, what we need to do is think about how the the bear flag is going to play out potentially, and it has done previously. So what do we expect? So if we take the top to bottom of this move, and we can see here, and we just basically copy and paste that into here, it drops us identically to the 200-week moving average. I'm not here to scare anybody, by the way. In case you know, I am very bullish on certain cryptocurrencies. And of course, I will talk about the strategy in terms of what I'm doing. So not only is this on the 100-week moving average, the bear flag breaking or closing a candle below, but next time it really breaks, we'll have a fake out. Everybody's going to get bullish, and then look where the price aligns on the 200-day week right now, sitting at $57,000. Now, I did say 64 to 50, 64 to about $50,000, but nobody really knows where the true bottom is. And I'm not in that game. I'm not going to go and predict the absolute bottom, but what I can see here is a key level of support at 80K. Another one around 72. Listen, these could be slightly weaker levels to defend, but we saw a sell signal here with the order block, and the next order block sits all the way down at $55,000 on the daily. So it's just a warning from my side in terms of the overall strategy, but I'm watching the stock market today as well as the any potential flashpoints, any wars, FOMC. There's a lot to go through this week. So now that brings us back into buying altcoins and holding altcoins. Now, if I was you, I would try and massively de-risk. If you haven't done so, okay, we gave out several warnings. My first major warning was back in August. I did not sell everything, but there's a video on the channel that said take massive profits. Okay, so what I'm looking to do now, last week at $98,000, you know, sell some more shit coins, right? Sell. If that looks like sell. But really what I'm doing here is I'm going to look at $93,000 as a last opportunity to streamline the port. So what do I mean by that? There are only few assets that I'm bullish on over the course of the next 10 years. And 10 years is a long time in crypto, but there are assets that I think will do very well. So I'll continue to DCA into these. Now, how will I do that? So if you look at, for example, Tau USDT, right? Tau is coming into one of my favorite levels, which is, of course, not deep value yet because we've tapped this, but sometimes we've been really, really deep into it. So this extends, maybe perhaps a bear market price could potentially be born out of this. But if we lose the following levels, level 1 will be 160. I will wait. From 160, then we'll have a little bit of nothing, but, you know, smash through 120. But you could see here, first start, you know, the real support begins at around $80 to $90, right? $80 to $90 would be incredible. And that would look like a bear market low, in my opinion. So this is how I'm playing this game right now. Any bounces, reduce your size, go into complete core. There's going to be stuff like KASPA that I just dollar cost average into, or I've been holding for more than 3 years. That's fine by me, right? Destiny there for me would be that, to get to a price of $1 to $3 one day, and I know it will. Tau is another one that I look at. If SUI comes back down again, SUI is another one that I'm looking for a sub dollar, because my average is 72 cents is my average for SUI, right? So what I'm looking to do here is the ultimate buy for me would be below this level here. Get below $1 and possibly get to about 50 cents. That would be a generational buy for SUI blockchain. And I think, look, so far, if it breaks below this level, the next time we see SUI would be around this 120 level. And then anything below that would be around 96 cents. And that would be great. So you got to treat it that way, but there's no point in holding some BS coins or you know, low cap gems or whatever you might be. You could, I mean, potentially if you wanted to buy low cap gems, you could. I suppose it's not my advice right now, but you'd get burned because the way the market is looking is that we are likely to see the bear flag break below and send crypto into a shock that will last for a few months. And then towards the end of the year or post-POW, markets will stabilize. Hope you liked the video. Of course, as always, take care and stay safe out there, guys.